Today I'm gonna talk about spirituality and what people are calling New Age. With my experience, I tend to always do things with intention, and I feel like that's the point. And I feel like when people practice different things, whether that be Christianity, Islam, spirituality in general, I think it has to do with intent. And I feel like with my experience with spirituality, being in the church was not a healthy space for me, or the specific church I grew up in wasn't the best church or the most healthiest place to be for me growing up. And I feel like because of that, I strayed from Christianity and even going to church. And I found spirituality in intention and in myself and in learning different things about different ways people practice spirituality all around the world. I learned about Buddhism. For a period of my life, I was like really into Buddhism. And yeah, I just want to talk about that. When it comes to spirituality, specifically New Age, you can really easily get roped into watching a lot of people who have messages for you or who have readings for you and who have things like that. And I have done readings and I have done intuitive messages, but the reason I am no longer doing those sort of things is because I believe in intention, and I believe that we all have the ability to connect with the divine. We all have the ability to connect with God in our own way, and I feel like that's the essence of spirituality. And I don't necessarily think New Age, I feel like the concept of New Age is trying to group something into some sort of like religion or some sort of practice. And I understand why people do that, but I also have a problem with that because I don't think that doing yoga and practicing wellness, which is what a lot of New Age spirituality, the umbrella term, which is what a lot of people think when they think about New Age spirituality. They think of tarot, they think of meditation, they think of binaural beats, stuff like that. I feel like it's just wellness. It's just people practicing different ways of feeling well in their body, in their space. And I feel like it's being grouped into something and it's being structured. And I'm not really surprised because that's just how we operate as human beings. We tend to like to put things in boxes. But I believe that intention is the most important thing. And I feel like it can be really easy to fall into the trap of watching specific people and thinking the right answer or the right messages are there, or watching a bunch of people and using that to make decisions or using that to gauge and guide your life. And I feel like from my experience, I had to unfollow and unsubscribe to a lot of tarot readers because I was watching so many tarot readers and I was watching so many spiritual people who had great things to say and great messages. And I still use tarot. I still watch tarot readings. I still like to receive messages from different people that I feel like I trust, but I'm always reminding myself that at the end of the day, it's my decision to make. These people cannot guide my life and cannot help me make huge decisions. I feel like there are times where I've watched tarot readings and it propelled me forward in taking action. There are times that I have watched people's channel messages that propel me to do things that help me move forward in different things. But I also found myself in one aspect watching those things so much to the point where I was so confused about how to move forward with my life. So I think it's very important to bring light to that. I think it's a individual responsibility to be aware of your intentions and be aware of other people and other things that you tap into to be aware of the kind of effects it has on you. I don't think that because people feel like you can get roped into being obsessed with tarot readings or things like that, that people shouldn't make, that kind of content, or someone shouldn't make their tarot reading videos, or someone shouldn't make their channel message videos, stuff like that. I don't believe that because you had a negative experience with these types of things that means that those things shouldn't exist. I feel like at the end of the day, we all have an individual responsibility to really assess what we take in, and that can just be as simple as what we take in on social media, what we take into our diet. I think that wellness is very important, and I feel like the reason New Age is so popular is because a lot of people are having a hard time finding wellness in institutions such as church, school, institutions that have been in place for us for so long. It's hard to find wellness in those institutions because for people like me, specifically queer and black, those institutions have perpetuated violence in so many different ways. And for me, it was important to stray away from that and find what works for me. And I feel like when it comes to my practice of spirituality, it goes back to myself. It goes back to my intention. And my intentions are always love and light. And whenever I feel like I'm straying away from that, I assess that and I question that, and I try to go back to source, go back to the real point of why I am doing whatever I'm doing. And for me, that is connecting with God, whether that is through my tarot cards, whether that is through journaling, whether that is through meditation, whether that is listening to binaural beats to calm me down. My intentions with all of that is to connect with God and to cultivate love within myself and within my community. And I feel like it's important to make sure you're checking in to your intentions with whatever you do, not even just with spirituality or New Age, as people like to call it. Not just with that, but just with like your life, your friends, the things that you do. It's important to check in with your intention and to understand why you're doing the things that you do. Because lately I've been seeing a lot of things about how like New Age is bad, or a lot of things about how people warning people from New Age or from spirituality. But I think it all has to do with intentions, and it all has to do with what works for you, and it all has to do with self-awareness. And I feel like a lot of people do enter these things and try to learn about these things without really having self-awareness, and then those are the types of people who get into the rabbit hole of watching 5, 6, 7, 8 tarot readings and watching spiritual people and feeling like it's demonic and stuff like that. But you have to look into your intentions and how you allow things to affect you, because at the end of the day, we are all individually in control of ourselves. And at the end of the day, if nobody is pushing it down your throat, then if it doesn't work for you, you can let it go. And even if somebody is pushing something down your throat, you have the choice to refuse to allow it to go down your throat, type of situation. But yeah, I struggle with talking sometimes. So if I stutter, or if what I'm saying doesn't grammatically fit in context, I don't really care, as long as you can understand what I'm saying. English is not my first language. But I just saw something on YouTube about people being reborn in Christ after practicing New Age spirituality, and that is awesome. That is great. That is really good for you if you felt like New Age wasn't working for you and you had to go back to Christianity, or you had to go back to Islam, or you had to go back to whatever religion you practice. That is good for you. But I feel like bashing it, or saying it's demonic, or saying it's negative, or it's woohoo, I think it can be a little judgmental. because just because something doesn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't work for, or it won't work for someone else. All of us are just trying to get to a point of balance, a point of wellness. At least that's what I think when people, are interested in spirituality. A lot of the people who are interested in spirituality are people who have been part of something else that failed them, so they're trying to test out something new. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with allowing space for that, allowing space for change. And if you do get into spirituality and then you change and decide to practice Christianity, that's awesome, because you're finding what works for you. There's room for change. And I just really wanted to bring light to how, for me, it's about intention. Whether I practice Christianity, Islam, just spirituality as a thing, that is, for me, all about intention and all about what is good for me, what is good for me to be a good person. And a lot of people will practice spirituality and be horrible people. A lot of people practice Christianity and be horrible people. For me, it's all about connecting with God and connecting with love, because I believe God is love. So whatever way that is, God is the greatest creator that has ever existed, to create us, to create the world, to create the universe, to create the multiverses. So it doesn't make sense how people limit the way you can connect with this divine being. It doesn't make sense to me, because if this divine being created everything to be, then of course there are multiple ways to connect with it, because it created it all. So that's basically my understanding of spirituality. And the floor is open. You guys can comment what you think. And yeah, thank you for listening. Comment down below your thoughts or your feelings about this specific topic and subject. Thank you for listening.